All right, people, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, let's go. Today, let's have a session with some of the movements that we need in releasing from different holds and grabs. Okay? Last time we were here online 2 weeks ago, we talked about balance and off balance, these things, how we, in self-defense situation, we might get off balance. Somebody attacked me from here, and now I need to balance myself to be able to continue. When we're dealing with holds and grabs, this is exactly what we are dealing with. We have to go from somebody pulling us to a good position here, somebody pushing us to a good position here, and that's it. All right, let's do just a very warm or short warm-up. More like, get your joints and hips a bit relaxed. Just, roll your hands a bit forward, backwards. Getting your shoulders just a little bit liquid going there. And then we will continue doing with neck and back a bit, so we'll be just a little warmed up before we start making fast movements. All right, punch forward a bit. You can do some open palm striking. Now remember, every time the punch leaves from your stomach and your feet give you grounding, so once you hit hard. All right, next, let's do a little bit of punching backwards. So thinking of elbows, something like this. And now, don't be too tight with that, we're still warming up. So thinking of the trajectory of the hand is coming to here, not raising up here as of yet. Just doing this. And you can do both hands. Now, let your back go a bit like from side to side, thinking going here, going here, going here, going here. But now, be low. Don't be like this, not standing up. Be here and letting your hands move. All right. Now, roll your head a bit from side to side. Always stop here when you get up. So going here. All right. Shoulders backwards. Then let your ear go towards your shoulder, both sides, easy. All right, then put your hands behind your back here. Now your elbows go a little bit forward. Now, just roll your hip, both sides. Just small rolls. All right, then let's go down. And now remember, when I'm going down, I'm not going my shoulder outside of my leg here. I'm going sides, sliding down my leg here. All right. Now, you can take hold of your knees a bit or just let them be, but go circling with the knees a bit. All right. Then ankles. Now I'm not wearing shoes, so you can see me pushing my toes down, heel down. All right. So, now that we go into the motions of different holds and chokes, the key thing in Krav Maga is to understand that we're using a similar kind of motions for various type of attacks. So let's say Bob here is trying to choke me from behind by pushing me forward. So sort of like grabbing my throat and pushing me forward, like this. So when I end up going forward here, now I'm off balance again. So I need to balance myself, and the best I can do to balance myself is to let my leg move here, as you see from the front. If I'm like this, because if I'm just moving forward like this, I need to take another step when the person is rushing into me. So I want to let the force go through me, all right? So now, if my head is going down, I'm coming here. Now, of course, I can use my hand here to make the release and just turn the hip. So try it a few times. So be off balance, and now turn sideways. Okay? Be off balance, turn sideways. And now as you turn, it's a little bit different motion than just standing straight, take step forward, and then turn, as we see in a lot of so-called self-defense videos. But there was not any attack. All right? So think of that. You are being pushed forward, step, hand up, and move. Now you can continue punching. So if I were here with Bob, he's pushing, I'm doing this, release, grabbing the hand, punching, 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 and I'm again on the safe side here. All right? So let's make a little exercise. You can do first this way, and then you can do the other way now that your head is pulling there. So now turning from here. Okay? Let's do this for a minute or so. Okay? Go, go. Now, the key problems that we have here is that if you try to keep your back straight when you are training, you are not training for the attack. Because I cannot control the attack. If the person comes and pushes my head like this, and I try to be like this, I will not be able to make that turn. So I need to be very philosophical here now. You need to be like, if there are the rocks, you need to be the water that goes between the rocks, okay? So what that means in practice, that if somebody is pushing you here, go with the push. And now you have to train this. You have to train this motion so you can be here and feel comfortable of doing this, and now feel comfortable in doing this. And sometimes it's hard, especially when you're doing it on your own. That's why use the Krav Maga coach, the video. Do that, because there you have this same exercise in release of the holds and grabs. And you can watch the reference motion as you do your own. Now you can help yourself by doing this, thinking that this hand is pushing. So this hand is pushing, so I am here, and now I am in that position. I am here, and now I need to make the turn. Just don't waste your time doing stuff like this, because it's never going to happen in real life. You will get stuck. Okay? So that's why it's important to understand to what kind of attack we are actually making the defense for. All right? Now, let's say that the attack this time, it's going to be so that if I'm attacking Bob here, now unfortunately we have blue on blue, and I mean shirts. Of course, we're also buddies with Bob. But anyway, I am coming from behind, and I am getting my hands over him, and I'm trying to push him forward. So thinking that somebody is coming behind me, and now they're pushing their hands forward. They're grabbing my hands and pushing me forward. And now if I do the same thing here, the thing is that now they will of course stop behind me. But my first motion took away that push that was coming. So every time you feel a grab, somebody grabbing your hands, what you gonna do? Grab back. Do the same thing. Hold as firm as you can hold. My favorite saying is like a Rottweiler to a bone. The only way that person's hands are gonna come off is that they will be detached from their shoulders. Okay? So now, thinking that somebody comes and grabs you from behind, pushes you forward, you fall forward, you turn and move. Now, what's the continuation here? I can make either motion to turn towards the person here, or if I rolled already, I was here being attacked, I rolled already, I can of course continue coming this way. But now that depends on your balance here. If it happens so that this foot is on red, this one is on blue. So now it's going to be a lot easier for me to turn this way than it's going to be to turn the other way. And then vice versa. If this leg was already here, now it's easier for me to turn towards my back leg. But the first initial motion from both of these attacks, somebody attacks you from behind with a push. First it was the push to your head, you went down and turn. You see this motion? Now it came over your hands, push, grab and turn, and then continue moving to inside towards the person. And both, very important thing is to understand that attack takes you here. Attack takes you to this position, takes you off balance, and now you need to regain that balance. Okay? Now, if it would be something like this, again we are dealing with attack with a push. So person comes here, starts pushing you forward, and Bob will almost fall because he's standing very like this, so he will most probably fall down. But now for me, once the push comes to here, and I go and do the same thing, hands covering the hands, taking hold of me, and now giving the elbow from above. The person is probably going to be underneath your hands, going to be around your waist level. And now why it's important to get these motions into our system, because the thing is that they happen this fast. So once something happens that fast and you need to be here, if your mind and brain is not trained to do that, it will not happen. And that's what it's all about when we talk about options and reactions. This is training the reaction. This is what we're gonna get. Okay, so now we have a third motion, third attack. First was the push or choke or grab from your neck going forward. Motion was here, moving out. Next one was over the arms. And again, I was going here, grab, and now I continue moving side. But the first motion is the biggest thing to do, because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. And then the third one was somebody below my arms came shooting forward. My hip starts to go here, and I turn and do this. So now I need to be able, from this position, thinking somebody's pushing me forward, to balance to here. This is one of the very, very key motions in self-defense and in Krav Maga, okay? To understand doing that. How to regain your balance. All right? Now, let's make an exercise. So first, the thing is that you will push forward. Your balance was here. And now you need to regain your balance. Do it a few times, okay? And then next few times is that the push is coming to here, and now I need to regain balance. And all of these hand motions that I'm doing are just to train my brain to overcome from a certain body position to regain balance and being able to actually do a defense. Because once that happens, we never know. It's never going to be like in training. There's just a little something different about that attack. And then once you have this in your system, you will be surprised. The magician is surprised that the trick worked. That's the saying that we have over here in Finland. Okay? So, forward, head forward, move in, balance. Hip forward, move in, and balance. All right? Let's do this. Do both sides like 5-6 times. Yes. All right. Now, that's like when we are being pushed forward. Of course, when we are being pushed backwards, the motion is quite opposite, of course. And now if you think that the motion is coming from here directly against me, now I need to be able to move and let the motion pass. And now, of course, think of somebody pushing you from your chest or all of a sudden pushing you from your hands, and you are making move to the side and maybe a release with your hand. And I know, as weird as it sounds, I tend to see a lot of this when people are being grabbed by the hands and we are moving here, and then we all of a sudden try to go from here. And I'm like, what's the point? Because you are already halfway turned and you can do it with your front hand. But again, now let's not focus on the hand motion so much. Let's focus on the body motion. Because a lot of times in all the defenses and so, people are so worried how my hands are working. If your body is working, your hands will be working. Your hands don't need to do anything, in a sense. But let's go backwards. So from here, I am being pushed backwards. So now I'm off balance. I need to regain balance. So from this angle, you see me perhaps better. I'm here, and I need to regain balance. Very easy motion. The hardest part is to let yourself be almost falling and then regain balance. Now remember that you need to connect this sensation of falling into an abstraining. So you are actually making a sitting down crunch, if I'm just a little bit exaggerating here. Okay? So think of falling backwards and then moving. Now you can bring the hands here if you want. You can maybe do a punch with the other hand if you want to, no problem. I'm falling here. So the same motion as it was before when we were falling forward to here. So we are getting off the line of fire or line of push. Now again, I am getting off the line of fire. All right, a few more times. Okay. There is a thing here that most people start to get a little bit scared before. When you are falling down, we tend to do this. And this is, of course, all right. The only problem is that we are still in the same line. So if I am here falling and I do only this, I'm not going to get away from the line of fire. So I need to be able to do this. Now, pay attention to the lines here. The red and blue and red line. And if I start from here and I start to go backwards, you see that both of my feet are still on blue. Because when we start to focus on the leg motion, what tends to happen a lot of times, we are doing this. And that's when we are not when we are training with a partner, that person is not really attacking you. They're not really pushing you. They're not really making you off balance, which makes that training session a little bit wasted time because you didn't get to actually train a realistic motion. And then when I'm doing it solo, like now, I'm not really pushing myself off balance. And what happens here is that if I stay upright here, all my weight stays here now in this leg. And then what happens is that I start to make rotations circling my leg. And that's not, of course, what we are looking for. Because we need to get from here to good balance here. So pay attention. When you're training with a partner, just let them push you. It can be even so that if I'm training with Bob here, I want to take Bob to a bad balance position. So I'm pressing here and I'm keeping hold here so the Bob will be in bad balance. I'm not, of course, stopping him from moving, but the idea that there's something behind your back here and you need to make this motion, okay? That's the idea. So when you're training solo, just think that go, 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 go when you are starting to fall now. And take a video. Look at what's happening at first. Where are your limits? How far can you go? Is this your limit here? Or is your limit somewhere here? Because the further you push that, the better your balance will be. And now as you see, you are taking easily steps backwards, as you should be able to rotate your hip sideways. So that's what happens very easily in a sense. But that's the exercise that we are doing from here. We are off balance, now on balance. Because the same thing happens now if you are being pulled backwards. You are not pushed backwards. Somebody starts pulling you backwards. And if your limitation is here, and now you start to do something, you stop here, and you will end up getting choked or beat up. But if you have the ability to go all the way to here and actually rotate, so I show you back towards you. So if I go all the way here and I have ability to rotate, that's going to be a game changer. So when somebody is pulling you backwards, you are going here, and now think of doing this. So I try to do it in a slow motion. I think this might be a good. So from here, what is happening is that my hip starts to work forward. I start to make sort of like a crunch with my stomach here. So now hip in or stomach in and then turn. But if you are all the way here, there is no way you can turn with your back muscles. It's virtually impossible. Well, small kids, they can do whatever they want, but because they're very flexible in all sizes. But once they grow up even a bit, it's not going to be possible anymore. And for us adults, it's very hard to do that because the kinetic chain doesn't work that way. Okay? So think of this now, stomach and turn. Because this will also change your way of looking at, let's say, like a rear naked choke or armbar here, where people are making all sorts of, I push here and then I move to here and then I do this. Well, anything is possible when nobody's actually choking you. If somebody's keeping their hand on your throat, it's a different thing than actually dragging you around or actually trying to hurt you with that choke. Then you can do all this mystery stuff to them by moving sideways and throwing and blah, 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 whatever. But when somebody's actually holding you here, the grip is tightening, it comes very fast here, it comes like a punch, and you're like, what is happening? And now, if your brain is conditioned to do this, only thing that's gonna happen is that you are going to be pulled backwards. If my brain is conditioned to do this, all I can do is this. And hope that the person who is actually holding your neck will stop. Or then just squeeze the breath out of you, whatever. But now that I try to condition my brain, of course, this is what's going to happen. If I get hit to the neck, my hands will go to the neck, of course, and I need to be able to do this. As we've talked before in how to get you to the startle flinch to actually work for you, and how it's important to get that in every training and in every technical training session. But the thing is that if your brain is conditioned to do this, you are actually making a smaller circle than the person's hand can do. And that's what actually makes the release happening. And of course, if you get your shoulders here, it's going to be very hard to actually choke you also. But again, I am focusing on the movement. I'm not so much focusing here. I want us to train today is this and this, how I'm going to do this and this, how I'm going to do this and this. And these are all key integral parts of the balance, off balance, and releasing from different holds and chokes. Okay? So now, let's make an exercise so that at first you think that you are being pushed forward, this motion. And now, make 5 times to here. All right? Go, go. So push forward 5 times to here. And then vice versa, put the other leg forward. And now, of course, remember, I need to come back for you to see, but do continue from here if I'm making the exercise. So I'm coming to here, I'm turning. I'm coming to here, I'm turning. Don't think that you have to get back to the same starting position. Use that 1 square meter that you have there to your own benefit. Okay? All right, next motion. We were pushed forward from the hip. We were pushed forward from here, and now I needed to rotate to here. Okay? And both sides again. All right, then we go backwards. somebody was pulling you from behind and you rotate. Again, pulling you from behind and you rotate. Now take your shoulders, take your flinching motion with you. And now as you start doing this, you notice how it's going to be a lot harder to go backwards, and that will stop actually the attacker's motion than by here, how much further away you can get. So this is actually helping me to stay in balance a lot of times. So all right. Now, what I want you to practice now is that every time you do a warm-up for a training, you go, let's say you go and do a little punching or so. At first, every time do some balancing, off-balancing drills, just like what we did. Pushing forward, coming to here. Being pulled backwards, coming to here. And so and so and so. All the exercise, you can watch this as many times as you want in Krav Maga Coach. Do it and take parts of it. And then when you take this to an exercise and say that to your friend, okay, hey, pull me backwards, grab my hair, do whatever. And then you start doing this and you will notice the difference from focusing on the hands and not actually moving. All right, next week we will be doing some gun threats. So if you happen to have a practice pistol or revolver or whatever type of kits, handgun type of stuff, and hopefully I have Hedy with me next week to do a little bit of 2-on-2 demonstrations on the weapons part. So, but that's going to be next week. And there will be some basic hand defenses and stuff like that. And then we are troubleshooting some of the issues that have come up and always do come up. So that's it. But all right, that was for today. 40 minutes done. Hope you have a good week. Train excessively and see you next week.